This is Takom's new M48A5 Patton tank in 1/35th. How long have I been waiting for this? Since 1987. That's when low models released a conversion kit to upgrade Tamiya's M48A3 and M60A1 kits into modern versions. It wasn't great, but it was all we had at the time. Now we have this state-of-the-art kit from Takom. Is it worth the wait? Stay tuned, we'll find out. Hi, I'm Dana Niels from Replikator, and this is Tigger. Can you be a little more dignified? Apparently not, he's a cat. Anyway, I'm Dana Niels from Replikator, and if you haven't heard of Replikator before, it was a magazine I published a long time ago, briefly, and we're back. But this time it's video format. If you'd like to receive our back issues, please consider subscribing to our newsletter, and I'll send you the link to download them free of charge. Finally, you know the drill. Click like, subscribe, and ring the bell for a notification when new videos are posted. The M48A5 was the final version of the M48 Patton tank used by the US Army. It took M48A3s of the Army National Guard and replaced the 90mm gun of the earlier model with the M68 105mm anti-tank gun, then the standard gun of the US Armored Corps. Along with a new engine, a new commander's cupola, new self-defense machine guns, and a full NBC or nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons protection system for the crew. Between 1975 and 1979, over 2,000 M48A3s had been upgraded to the A5 standard. By May of 1987, the last M48A5s were retired from the Guard units and were transferred to Allied nations. Currently, M48A5s are still in service in Greece, Iran, Lebanon, Morocco, South Korea, Thailand, and Turkey. Former users include Norway, Pakistan, Portugal, Spain, and of course, the United States. Now to the kit itself. Okay, so this is the kit. I've got a 2-camera setup. I can switch during editing between the two, so let's get to it. So here it is, rather large box as you can see. Great color profile, or not profile, but artwork on the front. On the side of the box, they give you the options for the decals. There's, I believe, 3 for the United States Army, 1 in South Korea. It was an active unit. They used these while their M60s were being rebuilt. Second one's California National Guard in the desert scheme, the Desert Murdoch scheme. And then a forest Murdoch scheme for the North Carolina Army National Guard while they were on an exercise in Italy. And lastly, we've got a plain green model of the Lebanese Army. The other side shows the parts layout for the kit. So I guess I don't have to open the box. That's it, folks. Thanks for now. Let's get on with it. And then the end panels. Again, just repeat of the front. So, there we go. Let's note the orientation. Oh, box top comes off. I know, it's not a panther or tiger. I know, you're disappointed. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, it's great having a cat. All right, so we have clear pieces. There's some replicated. Some duplicated from the M48A3 kit. Some of the periscopes and the turret. Really nicely detailed. I'll zoom in on these in a moment. This part, or this tree has, I don't believe that's the M60. That looks like a GPMG, as Canadians call them. Probably used for the Israeli kits, but that is going in the spares box because that is nice. The armored air cleaners, toolboxes, fenders, parts for the engine deck, and more running gear parts. More running gear parts, engine deck parts, earlier M60, well actually it's probably British, I think it was an L7. The instructions, and we'll flip through those. Hull's two-piece. Looks rather nice and clean. We'll get all these out of the bags and you can view them. Well, that was what the instructions were in. I had a sneak peek beforehand. Sorry. Photo etch pieces, decals, and oh my god, the tracks. I started off as an aircraft modeler when I was a teenager, got into tanks because for some reason I thought they were easier. And then individual like tracks came out and everybody wanted them and they were phenomenal. But now I kind of, oh man, I'm gonna have to talk to my doctor about Prozac. Other pills are available. Okay, so let's get these out of the plastic and we will zoom in. Let's do the photo etch first. Sealed for your protection. And if you're wondering why I'm gazing over here instead of looking at you here, is I do have the panel flipped out so I can see myself, make sure everything's focused and I'm in frame. And I've also got a camera up here with the live view screen out so I can again see what I'm doing when I put things here for you. So without further ado, and you probably see some colored tabs here. These are just centering for me, so I know where to place things. So we'll start with that, and I'm going to zoom in. There we go. So you can see that a little better. And we are recording in 4K. So a bit of photo etch for the turret basket. It's always nice. Sure beats the days in the 80s when we had to cut bridal screen or the stuff you get at, for wedding shops. So that's nice. And then we have the poly caps for the wheels so they will spin. Now it's time for the Canadianism of the day, Timmy's. Tim Horton was a Canadian hockey player who played 24 seasons in the National Hockey League. Tim played for the Toronto Maple Leafs, the New York Rangers, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and finally the Buffalo Sabres. In 2017, Horton was named one of the 100 greatest NHL players in history. He died at age 44 while driving his Di Tommaso Pantera sports car on the way back to Buffalo. Today, the name Timmy's is associated with the coffee and donut chain Tim Hortons, which he founded with business partner Ron Joyce in 1964. Today, Tim Hortons has approximately 5,000 stores in Canada and more around the world. They even opened one in Kandahar Airfield in Afghanistan. So if you're a Canadian and you say, let's go for a Timmy's, that means you're going for coffee, or in my case, tea, orange pekoe, black. Timmy's is your Canadianism of the day. Okay, we're back from overheating. So, just move the kit here and bother Tigger. I know, you thought it was over. Oh well. Okay, I was gonna do the decals again, so let's get right on with it. There's something I noticed after I had them out. Ziploc bags, don't want to open. All right, here we go. So, this is one thing that bothers me with decals for American tanks. The manufacturers always put the tan color on the decal sheet, and why? It's paint. It's part of the camouflage scheme most of the time. Why not put in the instructions that you paint that and then put the decal in? Because it's going to be almost impossible to match that with paint, I would think. Maybe I'm wrong. That's not the way I would do it, and I'll probably replace those with stencils that I'll cut. All right, so on to the parts. So here we have the turret. There's some nice delicate casting marks right there. Let's see, I'm not sure if it's focusing. I hope it is. Okay, some delicate casting marks here and on the side of the turret. Hopefully it'll. You're not focusing. You're not focusing. I think you're focusing. Anyway, I'll do it here. You probably see them right there. Okay. Yeah, looks like an M48. And the clear parts, and this looks like it's a repeat from the A3 kit. You're not going to be using the vision blocks, and unfortunately they don't include the searchlight in this kit. A lot of photos I've seen from the 80s of these things in service, they did have the searchlight on in most cases, and it's not in the instructions. I didn't see it. Maybe we'll find it when we're going through the pieces, but that would have been a nice inclusion, and so far that's my only outstanding issue with the kit. The periscopes look nice. I'll be dipping this in future before I do anything with it. That's what I do. You may not like that. It's not your model. Okay. And this is, I'm not going to go through these in order. This is parts tree D. It's got some parts for the turret. The Erdan, actually let's see. No, let's zoom out a bit. There we go. Okay, so you've got the correct M48 105mm cannon, Erdan cupola, parts for the Erdan cupola, the mantlet cover. Let's flip that over. So the Erdan looks really nice. It looks like what I've seen in photos of the real vehicle. The mantlet's really nice. There's some nice texture there. I can remember with the Tamiya kit forever using epoxy putty and trying to carve that in. It wasn't too difficult, but it's nice that it's already in the kit. Smoke dischargers. The FN Mag GMPG, as we call it up here, is included, but it's not used in this kit, or in this version anyway. Be a nice addition for the spares box. I believe that is for the Korean model, I'm not too sure. And mounts for the smoke grenades and the smoke grenades themselves. So that was sprue D. Moving on to sprue B as in Bravo. And on this sprue, we have the air cleaners. I don't believe these are the armored variant. I might be wrong. Old school gas tanks, plastic fuel tanks, and water tanks. Some parts for the running gear, toolboxes, and the gun storage lock. And again, that was perfect. Okay. Next tree is V, sorry, or maybe it's A. Let's call it A. So, fenders and some parts for the engine deck, fenders and part of the turret ring. And the next one, J for Juliet. So the road wheels and the rubber for the road wheels, drive sprocket, and some running gear parts, and return roller wheels as well. And that is what compromises part tree J. And you get two of them. Second verse, same as the first. And then we move on to H, which you do get two. On this tree, there are supports for the fenders, parts for the running gear. The M60D version. So the box art does show the Commander having a 50 cal. A lot of the photos I've seen, both the loader and the Commander are using the M60. So you've got two of them. You can choose to use the 50 cal if you wish, or the M60s. And then there's some ancillary parts on this as well for the headlights, some lift and toe clevises as well. And there's two of that tree. Moving on to parts tree K. Some of the torsion bar arms, the driver's hatch, and just more general fittings for the underside of the tank. And Moving on to T, we have parts for the engine deck, the rear of the engine. There's also an earlier cannon. It's probably for the Israeli models, and an earlier mantlet by the looks of it, or mantlet cover. It's kind of odd because there's boxes for the smoke grenades on this tree as well. Yeah, and the loader's hatch. Only a few more left. Let's see, I think we might, yeah, we're gonna have to adjust just slightly. So this is parts tree D. You do get three of these. And you get the underside of the trackpad, the top side with the octagon block, and a jig to put them together. Thank God for that. I had thought for some odd reason that the octagon pads were separate, which would make this more tedious to assemble, but when you look at photos of these, the octagon pads really wore fast. They were designed to support the tank on roads. They probably weren't the greatest for gripping in rough terrain, but if you're doing a well-worn National Guard unit or one of the ones that were in regular service in Korea, you're going to be getting the files out to do some damage to those, to weather them up. So again, you do get 3 of parts tree D. You also get 3 of parts tree C, or Charlie. And these are the guts of the tracks. Yeah, and the centerpieces as well. And oh my God, I love building tanks. I hate tracks. It is what it is. In the 80s, we complained because we had rubber bands, and now we complain because we have individual links. Sorry, Takom. Sorry, model companies. You ain't gonna win. Before I get onto the hull, you do get a piece of brass wire, and it bends and it stays in shape rather nicely. So that's nice. I don't know if anybody sells these separately, but I like that. And last but not least, zoom in a bit. Oh, come on. There we go. So, upper hull. I like how Takom designed this. It looks like you could do almost every variant of the Patton, at least to my eye. I might be wrong. With the engine deck being the bare canvas for you to put whatever type of engine deck needs to be put on for the variant you're doing. The detail's really nice. It's a nice cast texture with Tigger hair on it. Thank you. Yeah, you're doing your job. It's just amazing capabilities of slide molding when you look at this and remember what we dealt with the old Tamiya kit from the 80s. It's quite a jump in technology, but that's technology. So, okay, so bottom of the hull. It's got all the service panels in there. Driver's escape hatch. It's casting marks. More Tigger hair. You are fired. Yeah, I know. Sorry to wake you. Is it time to wrestle? I know. How dare you interrupt my sleep. Yeah, I am really excited about this. I want to get this reviewed because I've been itching to build it, and various things have been forcing me to not review it. But I'm glad I did. I'm planning to do a quasi Verlinden inspired diorama. Thanks, Spencer Pollard. The only problem I'm having is finding suitable figures because Verlinden isn't exactly around, and a lot of the figures that were made in the 80s of modern U.S. Army aren't there anymore. So I am scouring the interwebs to find some. I picked up a Tamiya Gamma Goat. I'll be reviewing that soon, so again, I can start work on that. That will be going into the diorama. And I picked up a Tamiya M48A5 with trailer at Bill's car boot sale or tailgate sale, as we call them over on this side of the pond. I wanted to get some of the Academy M151s, and they're gone. I don't know what the reason for pulling them was. I don't know if it had to do with the Ford logo suddenly appearing on some of the Tamiya M151s, saying that it was an approved licensed kit. We know how that affected Academy with some of the helicopter kits, so maybe that's what happened with the M151s. If you know, put it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But yeah, so I've got a couple of vehicles, and that'll be a diorama coming soon. Probably later than sooner. That's it for this kit. If you've got one, tell me what you think about it. What are you going to be building it as? And that's it.